Hello everyone, and welcome to Unity Temple in Oak Park. I'm Barbara Gordon, and I am the Executive Director of the Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy. And we are based in downtown Chicago, but I actually live in Oak Park. And today I wanted to tell you how important it is to support Unity Temple Restoration Foundation. So a little bit about our involvement as an organization with Unity Temple. We spearheaded the inscription of the World Heritage nomination that was inscribed in 2019, and that included 8 buildings that comprise the 20th century architecture of Lloyd Wright. And Unity Temple is the oldest on the inscription, having been completed in 1909. And so I'll tell you a little bit about why Unity Temple was one of those buildings. And so we had to make a really strong case for these particular 8 buildings and how they provided global influence on architecture and culture. And so that's why these particular 8 buildings were chosen. And Unity Temple is really a special building because it was really the first that used this monolithic use of concrete in a church building, in addition to a really modern icon back in 1909. And so the way the building is expressed in concrete in its very cubic forms was very different and innovative at the time for a traditional church building. That wouldn't have happened like that. So what I love so much about Unity Temple is that personally I got married here, and I invited my husband to come today, but he refused. We had a Jewish Catholic wedding, and so we had to find a neutral ground, but also because of my love of architecture and my work in architecture. So we had many memories of that day getting married here, starting with the rehearsal dinner, where we had the rehearsal the night before, and all the kids that were here. I remember doing the walk, practicing, and looking up and seeing children hanging from the second floor balcony because they were bored. And I also remember the executive director at the time, after we were done, came up to me because I knew him, and he said, "Could you please have the children stop body surfing on the Lloyd Wright table in the reception area?" So that was my wonderful memory of getting married. And then the day of the wedding, my brothers walked me down the aisle, and we didn't really practice that part, and I didn't realize how short the aisle was. And so as I made my way underneath, and didn't really lend itself to a long train and 2 brothers walking me down the aisle. So we had a big laugh about that, but no one cared because they were just wowed. And for many of them, it was the first time that they came to Unity Temple. And at that time, we did not have this beautiful restoration that Unity Temple completed in 2017. And it took many philanthropists for that amazing restoration to happen. And I'm here to say today that restoration isn't just complete now that they've completed it. It's ongoing for Wright Buildings. And your membership, you can be a philanthropist too. And so that is why I support Unity Temple Restoration Foundation as a member, because it's really important for these membership dollars to go to the restoration of the building and the planning of its future. So I really recommend it. And Heidi and Alice have done an amazing job of creating these online programs that allow you from anywhere to participate and experience artistic and cultural programming at Unity Temple, now that we have these technological advances that we can all participate, and are excited about welcoming you to in-person programs as things start to ease and we can start doing that. So that is why I really recommend anyone can be a member of Unity Temple Restoration Foundation to save this beautiful building. And I asked Heidi to put me here because I think one of my favorite parts of this building are these amazing light fixtures, and I never get sick of looking at these light fixtures. Anywhere I am within the sanctuary, my eye just immediately goes to these beautiful fixtures, and I just wanted to share that as one of my favorite parts of Unity Temple. So with that, Heidi, any other questions?
So, Barb, outside of your experience, of course, being married here, are there any other experiences that left a particularly strong impact on you being in the space?
You know, I remember the first time that I came into Unity Temple, and I was working at the Chicago Architecture Foundation for a long time, and I ran the docent training there, and we they continued to do a walking tour of Forest Avenue, and then the tour ends at Unity Temple. And so early on, as I was with the organization, I remember coming to Unity Temple as part of the docent training, and I'll never forget, because when you approach the building, you don't know what to expect. And purposefully, of course, it's creating this wall along Lake Street to block that traffic, and you just don't understand what to expect. And as soon as I walked in to the sanctuary and saw it, I was just wowed. And I think in particular, what I remembered, obviously because my favorite light fixtures, was the ceiling. And I don't know if you can get that. I just never forgot those skylights. And as we sat there and looked at them and learned, I just never get tired of looking at those.
Great, Barb. And then one last question for you. Where we're at on this balcony level, we are on the first balcony there too, of course, plus the main level and the cloisters. What is your experience looking down in the area where programming might take place? Mm-hmm. What are the sightlines like? Because it's an unusual space to watch music or dance or...
Well, I think number one, if you have never been in the space into a program, which I really recommend that you do, no matter where you sit, you're always feeling like you're part of this intimate experience. Whereas more of a traditional house of worship is going to have you sitting further back in more auditorium style. So it doesn't matter where you're sitting, you're always experiencing, and you're not too far up when you get into the balcony that you can experience that. I remember when we had the opening in 2017, the reopening after the restoration, and I remember the choir of the church, and I was sitting way up there, and I remember the choir of the church came down, and they were all dressed in black, and they sang this most amazing light-filled song, and they came out, and the whole space was just energized by their voices, and as they filled this whole first floor area, and it was just breathtaking. And we had elected officials here, and church leadership, and the preservation community, and everyone was just drawn to tears because of that amazing intimate experience. So that's what I would say.
Wonderful. And Yvette's asking some questions. It's more geared toward the congregation, so answer if you can, otherwise I will. Yeah. I wanted to know if the services are currently being held, and if the congregation is or was involved with the restoration in cooperation with UTRF.
Well, you could answer that no, the services have not started yet. Is that correct?
Correct, in September.
Okay, in September. And absolutely, the congregation was, they had a leadership team that did major fundraising and planning for the restoration of this. It was an enormous team effort, so that's how I'd answer that.
Great. Well, Barb, thanks again for being part of our Facebook Live event today. And as Barb mentioned, please consider a membership to Unity Temple Restoration Foundation. July is membership month. All of our membership levels will be 10% off. And we have not only opportunities like this to see virtual events at Unity Temple, but we have a lot of other benefits that are available to learn more about on our website, utrf.org/membership.
Yes, so do it today. Or do it in July so you get the discount. But
Thank you so much, Barb.
Okay.